Welcome to Audrey's World. I'm Audrey. This is my podcast. I like to bring in guests, get to know what their life is like, what made them them, learn a little bit about them, and then I ask them about their dream world. I like asking people about their dream worlds because it's a great way to get to know someone. Think about it. You're wanting to know their ideal state. So you maybe get to understand some of their struggles or just what they wish they had ease with on a day-to-day basis, what they feel for like society. And I don't know, it's just you get to get into their brain in a different way. And I love that. That brings me joy. I also love hosting this podcast because I get one-on-one time with people. I feel like anymore, sometimes that lacks in my life. And like, what can I say? Sometimes I can be a greedy bitch and I just want that one-on-one time, people. I crave it. It gives me so much joy, excitement. And that's why I like to do this. That's why I do what I do. I know, very selfless of me, right? This week, plot twist, no guest, just me. Me, a mic, and you. What's about to go down? Great cue. Asking myself the same thing. Not gonna lie, I have about a rough outline of a whole 3 topics, so we'll see where the conversation takes us. And, I got the gift of the gab, so I can do it. Something I will say, I definitely was born with the gift of the gab. I think that's a British slang term that I heard a few years ago watching Love Island UK, and it's literally one of my favorite things. Favorite descriptor. Gift of the gab. Anyway, enough of that. I was born to talk. I am an extrovert, which surprises some people. Growing up, I feel like I used to come off more extroverted than what I am now. So that's interesting. I don't know, aging, COVID, who knows what factors that boils down to. I'm just here living it. I think if you were to meet me now, you would not think that I would have a podcast. I think when people think of podcasters, I think the stereotype would be someone who's so bubbly, extroverted, people who you would go up to and say, you could talk to a brick wall. I don't think I get that description if you were to meet me now or if you were to talk to me. So that's why I think it's kind of funny that I have a podcast and that I do have the gift of the gab. But like if I'm out and about with friends, you won't find me really connecting with other people, going up to other groups. Like I do that, but anymore, I just want to hang out with my friends. Like I said at the top, I'm a greedy bitch with other people's time sometimes, and I just want to soak it up. So there's a true gamble on if the people that I go up to, if it's going to give me that like sense of connectivity. And like that's when I have the gift of the gab. When I know I can connect with you, or honestly, not even that. You can throw me in a room with someone and I could figure out a way to talk to them. But if I have total control of it, like, yeah, my control will stay with the people that I know and love and that I want to catch up with. But yeah, clearly, I can't talk to a brick wall because I'm talking to myself into this microphone and putting it out on the internet. What? I learned a lot about myself, of course, through the podcast, but learn a lot about other people as well, too. It's very interesting. I love it. Sometimes I think I should have been a psych major, but then I think I would be dissecting people all the time. And I'm a little self-aware. I'm self-aware enough to know that wouldn't be a good use of my time. I think I would be unbearable to other people. I'd probably become unbearable to myself in some ways. So glad that psych route didn't really come up for me, although I was always interested in it. And oftentimes I speak very fondly about reading because I do love reading. It's my favorite. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. But oftentimes I'm reading a lot of rom-com books, like those easy reads. Honestly, because that's the way that I get to escape and daydream. Like reading, the great escape for me. But so I talk more about reading those types of books, but I always have some sort of, I don't want to say self help book, but like self enrichment, that's some sort of betterment, learning more about your body, your brain, how things work, those sort of topics. I always have at least one going on audiobook. Actually, some friends and I were literally just talking about audiobook versus reading. There's some dialogue that listening to audiobooks maybe doesn't count as reading. And I mean, all of us are a little biased because we all do audiobooks, but I think it counts. Like, yes, it's not the traditional sense of reading or whatnot, but I still get stuff out of it. It's still probing my mind in that way that a book would. It's just in a different environment. But some people too are also more like audio learners versus visual learners. So I think we got to give credit where credit's due, and audiobooks do count. But I will say for myself, I honestly, this is like one of my life hacks. Listening to those harder books, or for me, not the rom-com books or quote like my escape books, I know that I can just lock in and get reading on that. But with these more serious topic books, you know how you kind of just like push them off sometimes because you're not invested in the book. It doesn't have you captivated like that. So it's easy to push off. I listen to those, and I like to listen to those on like walks or when I'm at the gym or just doing things around the house, because I'm still getting the information in that way and there's nothing else to do, besides listen. So I'm getting the information in without having that like lack of desire to kind of pick up the book and go. Like it's just kind of an automatic habit where I do that. And yeah, it keeps me learning, keeps me growing, keeps that side of my brain engaged, but without the hesitation or the feelings of like dread of trying to pick up a book and it not being engaging or something. But reading right now, I am so in my reading era. I have been for a while, so that's fine. That's not news. But I do two things that I think any other reader would not get triggered on, but I think would be disappointed in me. And one of them, I completely agree. The first one, I agree. I'm disappointed in myself, and that is I don't have a library card. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Up until about a year ago, I was a physical book gal. Then I got a Kindle, and I will say, like, don't love reading on a Kindle as much. I just love to see the progress I've made in a book. I love to see how many pages in a chapter I have left. All things that are just easier to do with a physical book. And yeah, there's something about like closing the book, opening the book, turning a page. It's just very nice. But I got a Kindle probably this time last year, and it's been good. I really like it. It's easier to just grab a book and go sort of thing, like through their library. But I hate that I'm giving Jeffy B a lot of this money, I will say. Ugh, such a qualm. That side of it has been really nice, especially because it removes one barrier to getting a new book, to like keep it going sort of thing. So I like the Kindle because of that. But if you are a fellow Kindle reader and I don't have a library card, I think you can put the pieces together. That means I don't have the Libby app. And the Libby app is huge in the reading community. So if you have a library card, you can then get this app called Libby where you can be on the waiting list for books. So it's literally like getting a library book, but it's through this app. So it's, easy to do. You don't have to go to the library sort of thing, and you have that easy access to all of those books. There might be a waiting list for popular books or books that are just coming out, but most times, especially a lot of libraries, a lot of people don't really have that much like of an issue with getting the books they want and stuff. So that would resolve my pain point of giving Jeffy B so much money and still have that easy access. So It's been on my admin list of things to do since March. So, fallen behind on that clearly, but we'll get there. Hopefully, now that I'm talking about it on the pod, maybe this will mean that it will happen. Because what I have found with this admin task is that I remember to do this at the most inconvenient times, like literally when I'm not even in the city of Chicago. So maybe now this will make it a little bit more front and center, and this will all be resolved. I know this is a huge development that you all want to stay abreast of, so stay tuned. I think having a library card too, it would give me that easier access to those physical books again, and I could just read. I think it would be so fun to just scour a library, be back in that environment, especially with fall coming up. Ooh, I think that just sounds cozy and nice and a great activity. And I want to support libraries. By the end of this month, I swear, I hope that I have accomplished this goal. The other thing that might throw some readers in a spiral is I have no clue how many books I read in a year. And that's because it's better for my mentee age that way, my mental health. I am a girl who I know that data and facts like run the world that we are in. Data is elite. It gives us a good foundation and rationale for why we do things or what will work, what won't work. But for me, that is too much for my brain. I have learned a thing or two about myself in my 30 years roaming this earth. And one thing is, I am a vibe girl, not a data girl. I can't know those things. It's the same reason I don't have like a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, an Aura Ring, anything like that. I can't know how many calories I'm burning. I can't know how many steps I'm taking. I can't know my sleep score. It will just make me way too competitive against myself, and it will start me down this rabbit hole, down this spiral that is not good for anyone. Similar to how if I were a psychology major, that would probably be horrendous for others and myself. Same with this. It's the same thing. You know, sometimes I can be a little self-aware. That's one thing I know. Can't step into that territory. So I can't know how many books I read in a year. And I didn't realize that this was, I don't want to say shocking for other readers or other data people, but yeah, it kind of is. A lot of other people love to know how many books they've read. They like to have like reading goals or that sort of thing. And I guess I didn't make this connection until earlier this year. I went on a date with someone and we were talking about reading, and he said how many books he read the prior year. And then he was like, "Oh, what about you?" And when I had to answer and say, "Oh, like I genuinely have no clue how many books I read last year or how many books I've read like this month." He was like, I feel like he looked at me like I had two heads. I was like, "Sorry." Then after that conversation, I started to realize just how many people in my life have book goals or things like that. And I just can't know that thing. Ignorance is bliss for me a lot of the time, which I don't know. Is it the best thing about me? Probably not. But don't have a Goodreads. Probably not best to ask me to go on Goodreads. I know all the other benefits of it, but no. TikTok and reading have been like what I've been doing. TV has not been doing it for me lately. I will say, TikTok, when the algorithm hits, it hits, and it's been hitting. Oh, it's been so good. And I know that it is rotting my brain. I know that this is not good. I have a fully developed frontal cortex now. I know what I'm doing is not the best, but I'm doing that in reading. So it's called a balance, right? Like it's rotting, it's expanding, it's growing. Balance. what I've been doing with reading, which is kind of weird because I don't want to like spend all of my money on books. I finished my book and then I doom scroll TikTok for like a day, day and a half, and I'm like, wow, this is too much, or the algorithm's no longer hitting, or I just don't feel good after doing this. Let's get back into a book. So what I've been doing is rereading the book that I had just read. Call me crazy, but at first I kind of just did it because I don't know if this is the case for you all. When I finish a book, the characters are still so alive and well in my head. And I'm thinking about them, I'm coming back to them, and I'm just still in that like world, still in the book setting. So then I'm like scrolling TikTok, but my mind keeps going back to these characters in this book. So then I'm like, fuck it. I'll reread it. After the second time I finished the book, the characters, they kind of fizzle out in my head. So it's been perfect, but it's been so fun to see because spoiler alert, I know what happens in the end. I know everything that happens. So it's been so fun, and I've been really appreciating how authors tee things up, how they tee up the setting, the emotions, the character development, all of it. It's been so cool just to see how they do that and like relive it in a different way. And I always catch things that I missed the first time. That's just been fun to add that detail to the plot in my head and everything. So, yeah, I've been rereading a lot of my books, which if I had a Goodreads or like if I was tracking my books, big question for everyone, would we consider it? Would it just count as one because it's rereading the same book, or because I'm reading it twice, would that count as two? Personally, I'm team two because you're still taking the time and actions to read, but I could see the counter argument, so who knows? But God, I would just be in a tizzy if I was counting my books. But I've literally been doing that for I think the last 2 months. So every book that I've read in the last 2 months, I've read it twice. Is that weird? Is it a little like psychotic? Could it be a serial killer move? Potentially. But I've been really enjoying it. Like I said, if you two maybe just are in a pinch with reading, I would recommend if you enjoyed the book enough and a lot and the characters are still alive and well in your head after the book finishes, then do it. If you did not like the book or it just didn't give you that excitement, that joy, it wasn't that escape for you, don't go back to it. That's just suffering. That's suffering for no reason. So I would not encourage that. But maybe just some food for thought, you know? Obviously, then TikTok and reading have been my vices, my escape for a bit because TV just is not hitting right now. And I've seen this kind of being talked about with some of my friends, is being talked about online a little bit where TV is not hitting. And it's not where in the past where there hasn't been a writer strike or just a strike in entertainment that's been holding up some of this stuff. So like, what is it? Who am I to throw my opinion into the ringer? But it's my podcast. I got some time to fill. So we'll throw it out there. Data is huge right now. That's obvious. But we love data. Data drives so many businesses and decision making, which it makes sense. You want to succeed. And so having some sort of data or something behind it that would show, hey, this is the more strategic decision, go with that. They, like this should have a good audience sort of thing. But I feel like a lot of things now are just sequels or nothing new. There's not a ton of completely new vibes. But does anyone else feel that way? That it's just, I feel like our entertainment is really derived by facts and data, and there's none of that like new creative energy of just giving someone the shot to like go try something new, see what happens, like giving them free creative reign on something. I just feel like I know that's happening in some spaces, but it's just not maybe a grand enough scale, or it's just so limited. And we gotta bring that back. Everything has felt like a sequel or a rinse and repeat or a spin-off of something that worked some time ago. But again, it's just like the fact of it. Like, I feel like we need new things. So maybe that's why TV hasn't felt like it's hitting. I don't know. But I also feel like TV goes in cycles. There's an early fall cycle. Then I feel like with the holidays, there's maybe some lingering shows, or like we're finishing up the finales of these shows that started in the fall. But then it becomes like January and things are kind of fizzling out. Then I feel like we hit a peak again of good TV in like late February, early March. Then we get into a little bit of a lull. Then like late June, early July timeframe, we pick things up again, and then now we're in the lull again until the fall one. So I think we're about to be on that like boom, new shows, or the things that part two, or of a series or anything like that starts to come back now. So I think that will be exciting, and good TV is on the horizon. So I'm hoping that maybe that will get me off of TikTok. I don't think it will stop me from reading, but hopefully it will get me off of TikTok. The one show I will say that has me in a I was going to say a chokehold. I don't know if it has me in a chokehold, but I've been really liking it, is The Summer I Turned Pretty. Yes, I am that bitch. I am watching The Summer I Turned Pretty as a 30-year-old. But it's so fun to look back and watch, because I feel like I can reminisce a lot of memories, core memories, or similar situations that you can reflect on that you had in your life as growing up and being a young woman, like discovering herself, starting to date, differences with college and friends and all of that. You kind of see it through the show, and I think I like it because of that. If you have not watched, would recommend. It is so good. I feel like there's a lot more of those reminiscing and feelings, and just like, it brings you back a little bit. If you're anything like me, when I was in high school and college, honestly, dating and friends, changes, life decisions, everything felt so heavy. And I was really wanting to control things and really have that, like what I thought would be best based off of my friends' decisions or others' input or things like that. I didn't realize how heavy those decisions or the pressure or just the unknown really felt at that time. All of that to say, looking back into these moments that hit during The Summer I Turned Pretty, when I'm watching those, I see it in a different light, and I can see it as, oh, yeah, you felt all of that, but like it gets better. Like that decision doesn't matter as much, or like life is about messing up, discovering these things about yourself. Maybe it's not messing up even though you thought it would be, and it turns into something magical or beautiful, or like it reroutes you in the best way possible. I was not thinking about that when I was that age. It was like, I have to do the best. I have to set myself up. And that's not a bad thing, but I just felt like it gave me more pressure in that. But we're always our toughest critic, So I think that will always be a part of some of this when I reminisce on parts of my life. But anyway, it's not what we're talking about. The Summer I Turned Pretty is fun because you get to like go back into that mind space. For me, I have a little bit more grace and understanding, and just like, makes me want to hug that younger version of myself a little bit more when I'm watching back. If you have not watched, get into it. I don't think you will be disappointed. Season 1 is so good. It's very engaging, very cute, good. Would recommend. Then season 2, I'm not going to lie, is kind of their flop era. Season 2 flopped so that season 3 could run. It's like, then now we're on season 3. I think it's the final season of the show, and it is hitting. It's just hitting. It's so good. Season 3 is the most where I personally don't have any reminiscing as much as I did on season 1 and season 2. But now it's just exciting. Like the plot is like, whoa, it's getting a little crazy. I'm on the Summer I Turned Pretty TikTok, and it's been so fun to see the girlies who are watching are going up to like colleagues, friends, people who don't watch the show and are telling them the plot, but they're saying that it's like some friend from high school or someone they know sort of thing. And then when they're telling their coworker or whomever in the video, that other person is like mouth ajar, like gasping, all of that, because it is pretty crazy. And then they tell them it's a TV show and it's kind of funny. But I love being on that side of TikTok. I also love just learning more about all of the Easter eggs that are in each episode. If you're watching, Taylor Swift has such a big undertone to the show, not only with her music, but the creator, I think, is a huge Swiftie. So she is also doing Easter eggs by like the color of the lighting, the color of outfits between different scenes, and how they then connect throughout varying episodes and stuff. And it's so cool. Definitely things I am not picking up on, but it's cool to see that discourse online. Well, I enjoy Taylor Swift. I enjoy listening to her music. I enjoy keeping up with her life, like what she's doing. And I think I always kind of see some discourse on the Easter eggs she's throwing out or what this could mean, all of that. And I do think it's so cool, but whoa. I am kind of like an arm's length Swiftie. So the Easter eggs, learning about the Easter eggs that Taylor Swift has, and then how they're doing that on The Summer I Turned Pretty, it's like, whoa, this is a different language, which is cool. And I think if you're invested and if you are like a Swiftie or someone who loves that sort of detection, I think it's very cool. And I think it's such a smart, creative, different way to connect to your audience and like prepare them for things that could be coming. And I just think that's really, really cool. But for this girl, it kind of goes over her head. It kind of is sometimes a little too much. So keep telling me, keep showing me what's happening, showing me those connections, but just know I am not the one uncovering any of those. So if you need a show, if you two are in a bind, Summer I Turned Pretty, would recommend. But I would not declare myself as a Bravo girl, but I'm a fan of Bravo for sure. There are a few shows that I come back to and that I watch on reality TV. One of those, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and that's starting up. Whoop, 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 whoop. God, that incredible TV. Absolutely incredible. Writers could not write the shit that is going on in that. So good. So that's coming up, and that will fill up a lot of my time. It'll be great. That will spark this TV slump and get it moving. And I know a lot of my friends are not Bravo people, which is great. Honestly, probably best for their brain. And I should continue to surround myself with people who have a sharper brain than myself. But the thing about Bravo and reality TV in general, I will say, if you are going through something and life is so tough, the only thing that has ever shut my brain up during those times, TV wise, is Real Housewives or like reality TV. Because these people's lives are just going, going, going. There's so much happening that it just makes you forget about whatever you're going through or whatever's happening in your life. So if you need a distraction from life, start with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It has the least amount of seasons and the least amount of lore. So if you were to do something with like a Real Housewives of New York or a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because they've been around for so long, there's a lot of lore and a lot of flashbacks and things like that. So if you were to start with a more recent season, you would kind of be confused sometimes. So that's why I recommend start out with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's a newer franchise and it's action packed. Action packed. Like this shit that happens. Oh, I really hope I get someone to start watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And you'll have to reach out to me because I love the journey you're on and I can't wait to be alongside of you throughout this journey. It's just lovely. So lovely. So I think we'll be getting that back with fall TV. I know a lot of people look forward to fall because of football. And if you've been listening to me for a while, you know I am not a sporty spice. I used to be an athlete, I will say. Let's just get that clear. I used to play volleyball. I almost played volleyball in college. So she was an athlete at some point. That was my identity for a very, very long time. And I liked that that was my identity. Like during that phase, loved that. But wow, once that dissolved, she changed out of that identity real fast. And now, I think if you were to meet me, similar to you probably wouldn't think I'm a podcaster. You also probably wouldn't think that I was an athlete at some point in my life. So it's just so fun what changes can happen as you grow and develop and age. Not gonna lie, watching sports, it just doesn't really do it for me. The only sports that I actually genuinely like to watch is volleyball, of course. Like it's so great for our brain. It's so fast, do, so much action, people sliding on the floor, people hitting a ball really hard, the blocks, like oh, the plays, the setups. So great. So great. Oh, it makes my brain very happy. The only other sport that I will, at this point in my life, with the things that I know, the experiences I've had, the only other one that is exciting to my brain is hockey. And I know what I'm about to say is so crazy, but I was at a baseball game a few weeks ago and I was watching and I was thinking, I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype because I'm the type of girl where I have this brain. I grew up in a very feminist, female empowerment. You can do anything you put your mind to household, which is incredible. I hope everyone can be raised in that sort of household. So I have the type of thought where I see a baseball game and I'm like, I could do that. Could I? The facts say probably not, considering the only sport I ever tried and hated was softball. And if you've seen me with a bat, which is very few people, you know that's not a cute story. You know that's not lining up. And at one point, like, the pitchers are throwing at 90 miles per hour. That's faster than I drive my car often. Like, could you do it, Audrey? The facts are leading up to no, but I say all of this, and there is still a part in my head where I'm like, if I practice and if I actually gave it some time, and if I was into it for whatever reason, if I had that passion or gusto behind it, I genuinely think I could play. I know that sounds so crazy. And I know it doesn't make sense, but it's just the type of brain that I have. It's the one that I was gifted, so we're working with it. If there is some part of me that thinks I could do it, then I don't know. The glamour of it, the allure just dims a little bit. Like, I know I could never do Broadway. Give them so many props, give them so much credit. Like, that, wow, they put me in shock, they put me in awe. But hockey also kind of does that because ice skating is very hard. So to ice skate plus be passing the puck, being hitting each other, skating really fast and doing all those things and like doing a play and everything on top of that while ice skating, it's very impressive. Like there's no part of me that thinks I could do that. So I'm impressed by it, and that's a great sport. But yeah, anything else, a part of me just kind of thinks I could do it. In football, I will say the football of it all, I just have no interest in ever playing that. No part of me ever wants to give that a shot. So, like, I don't really care. And I just don't care enough to even try to do it. So, no. All that to say, I'm not really a sporty spice anymore. But if you were to invite me to any sporting event, I will always go. I'm there for the social of it all. No matter what, there for the social. Do I love an Ohio State football tailgate? Yes. Food, people, and like just vibes? Yeah, great, I'm there. But then I don't like if I'm somewhere and then if other people have a lot of stake into the game that we're watching, not like money or ownership or anything like that, but if their emotions will be very tied to the results of the game, ugh, ugh, that's too much for me. Like, if you're going to be pissed that this team didn't win, when you didn't play, when you did nothing to help them, when you're sitting hundreds of miles away to cheer them on, and then your mood is impacted by the outcome of the game, I'm sorry, that just doesn't track in my head. It just doesn't track for me. I don't get it. But that's okay. Maybe I'm not supposed to. So, fall, I know a lot of people get excited for the TV of it all because of sports or these things that are coming. But yeah, that's not a part of the thrill of TV for me. But you want to know what I am excited about fall? The wardrobe. I had a great summer. So, this is the first time in a long time that I will say I am sad to see summer go. But like, I can't change it. It's starting to get a little darker in the evenings. The change is inevitable, and I accept that. But I will just like to give the summer of 2025 that we are still technically in. I just want to say thank you. It was really great. I loved it. Thank you for showing me that summer is good. Anyway, the one thing I don't like about summer, and I will probably die on this hill, is the clothes. Oh, the clothes are atrocious. Summer clothes are atrocious. You can't do anything with them. It's hot. And there's not many different proportions you can play with. There's not really any layering that you can do at all. And so then the accessories and that sort of thing just kind of go. And I know a lot of fashion people are ones where they can just like suck it up and they don't care. And they would sweat through their outfit because that's how they want to express themselves. And I love that. Honestly, I wish that was me. But I'm not that girl. So the shorts and the shirts of it all, I can't wait to spice it up. So much so that over the weekend, I was on Zara for like an hour and a half, spent my time scrolling through their website. I was meticulously choosing some pieces for this fall and winter wardrobe. I was so meticulous, in fact, that I was referencing Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, my cart, looking back to past things that I wish I had, looking forward at some trends. Like, she was doing the research. And I found some items that I am so excited about. They should be coming to me later this week. And I'm just going to warn everyone. There are these red shoes that I got that if you follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, be prepared to get sick of them. They are going to be on every outfit. I keep seeing all these different outfits with them on, and it just is making my brain so happy. It's like, ooh, it just feels so right. And there were so many. I think I got 8 or 9 items. And all of them just give me a little glimmer of hope, and I can't wait. So, very excited for this upcoming fall wardrobe that I'm about to have. With fall, I love the layers, love the cozy, love the reading. Like, it's just of comfort to me. It feels like a nice little blanket. But I also love fall so very much because Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. It is so good. I love dressing up. Clearly, I just talked for I don't know how long about clothes, and I could go on and on and on. Dressing up was literally my favorite activity growing up, and playing pretend, all of that. So, wow, no wonder why I love daydreaming and asking people what their dream world is, because I've been loving to play pretend since I could. It's so fun to me. I love dressing up, I love all of that. Like, and then being a character, having a day just to like play a character, it was so fun. Some of my favorite memories were around Halloween growing up. So, big fan. And it just makes me love fall so much. I'm glad that the season is approaching us. It will be great. Let's see. Let's manifest. What do I want in my fall of 2025? In my fall of 2025, ooh, I want to say I want it to be cozy, but there's still some things in 2025 that I want to accomplish that need to happen between now and the end of the year. So I don't know if getting cozy is a part of that. I feel like it's time to lock the fuck in and get going. So I think September and fall is going to be about locking in and accomplishing these goals before the end of the year. But I want it to be peaceful. I don't want it to be stressful. I want it to be like out of peace and ease. I want to pull out some kick-ass outfits that I feel great about. Personally, for me, I know not everyone feels this way, but when I'm in a good outfit, like you can't stop my mood. Like it's just such a mood booster. It's confidence. Things are clicking that day. Like it's incredible. So I want that. And more good books. And just magic. I want magic to happen this fall. So let's see what happens. We'll see what comes into fruition from that. But doesn't that sound like a good fall? It does to me. Lots of friends, lots of fun. Yeah. Friends, fun, some good memes, and locking in, accomplishing all of these goals. That sounds like a great fall. What does your fall look like? What are you manifesting for fall? I would love to know that. That'd be so fun. Catch me up. That is kind of what I got for the bullet points today. I'm not going to lie. I feel like we did a good job of me just the gift of the gab, me and the mic. With that, of course, I am going to share my dream world because I love playing pretend. I'm not going to lie. My head is going very political right now, given the events of last week. I hope a lot of you know my views. So I don't want to add fuel to that fire right now. I think that the podcast, although I love hearing people's thoughts and views and things, I think right now there's so much of that let's just pause and let it be entertaining. So with my head not going that way, actually, this is going to be so crazy. Thinking about fall too is making me think of college a lot right now. Maybe it's also because my TikTok feed has been saying that in like 4 months, 2016 will be 10 years ago. Let that sink in. That is so crazy. So I don't know if it's the fall, if it's thinking about like 2016 and my college era. I don't know what it is, but I've been thinking about college a lot, and something about college that I want to bring back. So this is part of my dream world. Crush rosters. I used to call it a crush list, but it's moving on to a crush roster to be more modern today. You know, keeping up. I used to be so boy crazy. Like if a boy was just a guy from class, maybe he was someone I ran into at a party, maybe he was someone I found through an activity, or like maybe through a friend of a friend. I was the queen in high school and college of crush lists. It was always a rolling list between like 20 and 30 guys. It was just so fun. So I want to live in a world where I have that again. I have maybe 2 crushes at the gym, but like I don't even know their name. At least to have the crush roster, I had 20 guys' name. Like I knew all of their names. I don't even know these guys from the gym's name. Ugh. This roster, maybe that's a fall goal of mine. Okay, it's added. To add to the crush roster. That is the dream world I live in. I would also love if when I'm viewing clothes online for the Zara haul, like Zara is pretty notorious for you not really knowing their sizes and their sizes being a little skewed. So I would love if there was a way that I could like try it on. I know that they have those little measurement things that you can add in, which I think do sometimes actually help, but like our bodies are just all different. So I wish that there was a way that I could just literally know whatever clothes I'm buying, whether it's online or in a store, that I didn't have to try on and I just know that they would fit. Like literally we would be like Europe and everything would be universal sizing in a size whatever. Wouldn't be different in stores or even on different brands in the same stores. Ugh, women shopping is just a nightmare at times. So that would just wouldn't be the case, and you would know exactly how things would fit, and it would be so fab. And there wasn't like shame around food and eating. That'd be so fab. So that's a part of the dream world today too. Because unfortunately, that is not the world we live in. So I can't end on that note. We got to end on a exciting, positive, yay, like sort of thing. So today, my small win actually has to do with the Zara haul. So usually I will be meticulous. I'll be doing that research. I'll be getting into nitty gritty. I have a few items in my cart that I love. I will literally spend like 2 hours doing that. And then for whatever reason, I abandon the mission. Sometimes it's because I see the total and I got my cart down to as low as I could and I'm like, ugh, I just don't want to spend that money right now. Or sometimes, this one's for you, ASOS. If something's in your cart for over an hour, it removes it from your freaking cart. Like, I am doing the research. I am taking my time. Keep that item in there for at least a day, please. So then that happens and I just like give up. That's tough. Or sometimes I'm just like, do I actually like these items? And I step away for a little bit and then I come back and then I don't. So I'm actually so proud of myself for pulling through on the Zara purchase. I know that might sound crazy and I am a shopper. So I think that might actually shock a lot of my friends. But oftentimes when I'm shopping, I'm just going in because I'm seeing the trends. I got to stay on the pulse. So that's what I do. I love to shop, but I rarely actually buy things. So I am happy that I followed through on the Zara purchase, and that is what I want to celebrate today. And I can't wait for these clothes. So like celebrating in that too. It's like investing in my fall wardrobe. It's investing in this happiness that I know will come with these new pieces. And that's priceless in a lot of ways. And that's Audrey's World today. Guys, like, what a wild ride. Thank you for being on this roller coaster of an episode with me. You, me, a mic, and this is what happens. So next week, there will be a guest. Don't you fret. I sincerely appreciate your support, sincerely appreciate you tuning in. It definitely does not go unnoticed that you are taking the time out of your day to listen. You're even taking the time to search for the podcast and all of that. So I am very grateful for you and the support that you give me. If you would like to support even more, you can like, rate, review, subscribe, or follow wherever you listen. You can also do that on Instagram and TikTok or YouTube. So I have all of my episodes. If you prefer to be visual or you want to see my body language, you want to see the connection between my guests and I on other episodes, I implore you to check out YouTube then. All Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, you can find me at Audrey's World. Audrey's World is a part of a new app called PodZ, Podz. And it's kind of like social media and podcasting merge into one. And I say that because you scroll like you would on social media, but instead of seeing content, you're hearing content. So you're hearing little clips of podcasts that are on the app. And it's a great way if you're looking for new podcasts, you can do that. But it's also a way to kind of remove the doom scrolling. So this is something that I've actually done. And it was really nice. It gave me a little break of TikTok, and I did feel like I learned something, or I got to see what other types of podcasts are out there. So if you are looking for a new podcast or want to support in other ways too, you can check out the PodZ app. And that's what I got for you today. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Love ya. Bye.